All right, ladies and gents, today is law of cosines. All right, there's two different forms, the law of cosines. You guys will be given these formulas on the quiz or test, so no reason that you have to memorize them, but you do need to know how to use them. All right, on the left-hand side, that's called the quote-unquote standard form. The right-hand side is the alternate form. In the standard form side, you're looking for side lengths. And then on the right-hand side, you're looking for angle measures, right? When you use the right-hand side and find the angle measures, are you finding the actual angle measure? No. What are you finding? The cosine of that angle measure. So how do you figure out what the actual angle measure is? You're going to hit second cosine in your calculator, cosine -1, and then you'll find the angle measure. Okay, just make sure you guys got that. I left this right here because this is a very important piece of information. You need to find the biggest angle first. If not, you'll come up with answers that don't make sense. The biggest angle measure that you come up with will be across from the smaller side or something like that. So when you are given information, and it'll always say use law of cosines, but even if it didn't say use the law of cosines, you guys would see this. When you're looking at this, would you be able to use the law of sines for this problem? In order to use the law of sines, what do you need? An angle measure. You don't have one. So this is why you have to use the law of cosines. Now, this, where it says solutions, it says find the biggest angle first. How would you know, don't tell me just because it looks bigger, how would you know for sure what the biggest angle is in this situation? Not hypotenuse. I get what you're saying. That's not a right angle because there's not a 90 degree, like there's not a square there, so you can't assume that it's a right angle. But how do you know that what angle is the biggest?
The biggest side.
The biggest side is across from the biggest angle. So your largest angle here is B. So let's find B first, all right? So which formula would I use to find angle B? You guys tell me. What am I going to write down? Tell me. Use your law of cosines, guys. Tell me. Okay, so how do I find angle B? Tell me what to write down. Cosine B, thank you, is equal to A squared plus C squared minus B squared all over 2AC, okay? Don't get hung up, guys, on which is A, which is my B, all right? Obviously, they're telling you here which is A, which is B, which is C. Sometimes they're going to change the letters up. You have to be able to interchange letters into formulas. So go ahead and plug in numbers here. I have 8 squared plus 14 squared minus 19 squared, right? All over 2 times 8 times 14. Make sure you show me what you're putting in your calculator. Very important. Guys, simplify your numerator. What's 8 squared plus 14 squared minus 19 squared? 8 squared plus 14 squared minus 19 squared. What is that? I just did. No big deal. What's 8 squared plus 14 squared minus 19 squared? Come on. I know it's Monday morning. Come on. Negative 101 divided by, what's 8 times 14 times 2? 224. Okay. Now, do that in your calculator. What is negative 101 divided by 224? How much? All right, is that the angle measure? No. How do you find the angle measure, guys? Not sine. Cosine -1. Make sure you guys don't make that mistake. A lot of people do that. It's not sine -1, it's cosine -1. What is second sine or second cosine second answer of -0.45? So 116.45 8 degrees. Make sure you put your degree symbol. All right, so we just figured out that angle B is 116.8 degrees. Could you use the law of cosines again to find the other angle measure? Absolutely. Is that the easiest thing to do? No. You now have a side length and its corresponding angle, correct? So you can use now the law of sines. Your first step, you can use law of cosines, and then your second step, you can use law of sines. So you have sine of 116.8 divided by 19. Which side do you want to find? Or which angle do you want to find? You guys tell me which angle. A, okay. So you have sine of A over what? 8. All right, cross multiply. So you have 8 times the sine of 116.8 equals 19 times the sine of A. Divide by 19. And the sine of A is how much? What's 8 times sine 116.8 divided by 19? .3758. All right. And then we hit second sign, second answer. What is angle A? God bless. God bless. 22.1. All right. 22.1 degrees. So angle A is 22.1 degrees. Now, how can I figure out what angle C is? You can add them and divide and subtract from 180. So what's 116.8 plus 22.1? And then minus 180 is what? 41.1. All right, there you go. So 41, excuse me, 41.1 degrees. Now, guys, on your quiz on Thursday, make sure you have your degree signs. Make sure you have measurements if you have a side length, something like that. But super straightforward. Super, super, super straightforward. All right, look at the next one. All right, find the remaining angles in the side of the triangle. Now, even if it didn't say use law of cosines, use law of sines. Initially, if you wanted to use the law of sines, could you use that? No. You need to have an angle and its corresponding side length, so you can't right now. You could find the area, right? We could say 9 times 12 times the sine of 25 divided by 2. You find the area, but that's not what we're doing right now. So instead of finding an angle measure this time, what are we going to find? What are we going to find? A side length. So I'm going to use a squared equals. Which formula am I going to use? A squared equals b squared plus c squared minus what? 2bc, right? Times the cosine of a. Now, again, I'm going to tell you guys, don't get hung up on the letters. Your triangles are not always going to be A, B, and C. If you notice here, if you're looking for a side length, the side and its corresponding angles are kind of like bookends. You see that? If you were finding B, then b squared would be on the outside and cosine of b. But you're just filling in information here. You're going to take the two sides, square them, and add them together. So you have 9 squared plus 12 squared minus 2 times 9 times 12 times the cosine of 25. All right, to avoid calculator issues, I need to see this right here, see what you put in your calculator. But some of you don't enter things in your calculator correctly, so just go ahead and simplify a little bit. What's 9 squared plus 12 squared? 81 plus 144. What is that? 225, okay. Minus, what's 2 times 9 times 12 times the cosine of 25? 4 decimal places. So 2 times 9 times 12 times the cosine of 25. 195.76276, say 29. All right, so 225 minus 195.7629. I get 29.2371. Now that's a squared. How do you find a? Take the square root. So the square root of that, A would be 5.4 meters. Now think about this for a second. First of all, when you take the square root, what do you get? You should have what? Plus or minus, okay? A lot of you on your test forgot the plus or minus when you took square root, so you got points off. But in this case, do you need a negative measurement here? No, you only want the positive because there's no negative length, so you don't want that. So we found out that side A is about 5.4. Can we now figure out everything else in our triangle? Yes, because we now have a side length and its corresponding angle. So now you can use the law of sines. You have sine of 25 over 5.4 equals sine B over 9. So we're going to cross multiply. You have 9 times the sine of 25 equals 5.4 times the sine of B. Divide both sides by 5.4. And the sine of B is what? 0.7044. Okay. And then second sine, second answer. What does angle B equal? You guys agree? Okay, that's what I got too. So 44.8 degrees. So angle B is 44.8 degrees. Now, how do we figure out what C is? 25 plus 44.8? Yeah? And then subtract from 180? What is C? 110.2 degrees. Good. Good, good, good. Again, these problems are much, much harder when you're not given the formulas. But when you're given the formulas, it's a lot easier. You just plug it in. All right, so here's a question where you don't have A, B, and C, and I just want you guys to kind of see this. You don't have to know anything about softball or baseball to answer this question. It says the pitcher's mound in softball is 43 feet from home plate. They show you the picture. The distance between the bases is 60. The pitcher's mound is not halfway between home plate and second base. How far is the pitcher's mound from first base? So here's the triangle. What are you guys looking for? What is the length? Tell me the letter you're looking for. H. Okay, you're looking for H. Everybody with me? So you're looking for a side length. That means you have H squared. That's what you're going to find. I told you. Don't get hung up on, I don't know which formula to use. Do you see the two sides that you have? Yes? Those are your side lengths that you use. And then the angle is given, so 45. So how would I write, what's my formula going to look like? What numbers would I plug in here? 43 squared, right? 43 squared plus 60 squared minus 2 times 43 times 60 times the cosine of 45. You guys agree with me? Notice you're looking for H, and there's the angle across from H on the outside. So just simplify a little bit here. What is 43 squared plus 60 squared? 5. Go ahead. 5449. Good. Minus, what's 2 times 43 times 60 times the cosine of 45. God bless. 3648.606709. So if I subtract those two, 5449 minus 364.8.6709. I get 1800.3291. Now, if somebody answered this question, said, oh, it's 1,800 feet, right? Use your picture, use your context clues to see if your answer makes sense. If the pitcher's mound is 43 feet away from home plate and the bases are 60 feet apart, does it make sense that the pitcher's mound to first base would be 1,800 feet? Now, so just kind of look back at your information and be like, did I miss something? Am I looking? Did I forget something? How do you find h by itself? You take the square root. So h equals about how many feet? 42.43 feet. Does it say how to round? Nope. So make sure on your quiz, I will specify how to round, where to round to, 2 decimal places, 3 decimal places, something like that. Make sure you have your units. Very important. Yep. They're all the same. It just depending upon, I use the one that's looking for sides, but they're all the same. It's just using different, yeah, that's it. They're all the same. All right, now we're going to find another area formula, all right? We talked earlier about 1/2 base times height. We use that area formula when we have a right triangle. Then we talked about the area formula that uses sine. You have to have 2 angles and two sides and the included angle. There's another formula that you can use. It's called Herons Formula for area. This is Herons Formula. You guys will be given this formula. It's right. It's going to say use Herons Formula to find the area. Now, you have to find the S value first. All it is adding the 3 sides and dividing by 2. Biggest thing, guys, is in your calculators, some of your calculators, you have to put the numerator in parentheses if you do it all at one time. Or you can add everything together, hit enter, and then divide it by 2. But if not, your calculator will divide the last number that you put in by 2 and then add the other ones. So make sure that you put stuff in parentheses. But in this case, if I asked you to find the area, you could not use the law of the sines one because you don't have an angle measure. It's going to say use Herons Formula. So here it is. We got to find the S value first. S is going to be all 3 sides added together divided by 2. So 53 plus 72 plus 43 divided by 2. Does it matter what order that I add all these numbers in? No. 53 plus 72 plus 43 is 168 divided by 2 gives me 84. All right, that's my S value. So Herons Formula says you take the square root of, you put your S value out in front, and then you take S minus all the sides. So 84 minus 72 times 84 minus 53 times 84 minus 43. And now let's just simplify a little bit. So I have 84 times, what's 84 minus 72? 12, okay. What is 84 minus 53? 31, okay. What is 84 minus 43? 41, all right. Now you're going to multiply all these together and get a ginormous number. What is 84 times 12 times 31 times 41? Best thing you can do is show me as much work as you can, because if you put something in the calculator incorrectly and then you get some wacko answer and I can't see what you were thinking or where you might have made a mistake, you're not going to get any credit. So I have what? 1,281,168. All right, now take the square root of that. I get the area is about 1,131.9. And what are we talking about? Meters what? Meters squared, because remember, area is squared. But again, you're going to be given the formula, so it's right there in front of you. I would just show as much work as you possibly could so I could see your thought process. The last slide just talks about the 3 area formulas that we know. That's it. So tonight, your Web of Science 6.2, you're more than welcome to just do it as a PDF. If you want to check your answers, that's fine, but I know the rounding can be an issue. Because some of your, like, if you round at different stages of the problem, then it's going to get a little further away from your answer, so don't stress about that. Just make sure you guys know how to do the problems.
Is it due today or tomorrow? Because I'm curious. It says Wednesday.
Say it one more time.
Is it due tomorrow or like?
I think I made it Wednesday.
Yeah.
That's fine. Yeah, I'm going to give you guys some review problems to work on tomorrow.